Hello, hello, hello. Can everybody hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah, really? Okay. Alright, guys, welcome everyone to the second episode of the Bandit Hideaway. Hope you all had a wonderful day. I'm really happy with the reception that we got for episode 1. And so now we are back with another episode where we'll be talking, of course, a few things about Gwent, its current state, and then a little bit again about the community-related stuff. So without any further ado, I'm just going to let each of our guests introduce themselves so we can get to know them a bit better. And I will start off with Mr. Rasheed. Of course, everyone knows him, but go ahead.
What's there to say? I'm a partner. Everyone knows me at this point.
I see.
I
Anything?
stream Gwent. I'm the face of BG Gang. Let's see what else. Most best looking Gwent streamer. After Crozyr. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Anything else you would like to add?
No, I just said it's pretty much it.
Oh, wow. Nice. Okay. And our next guest is the lovely Mr. Potato. No, it's the potato. The potato's lovely.
You said lovely. You said lovely. I had to.
You're a
assume
lovely
you
potato.
meant
No. You're a
MissLadyJay.
lovely potato. No. So please.
So yeah. Is it me now? So
Yes, it
Mr.
is.
Potato. Mr. Potato. Some people might know me as the Potato. I stream Gwent mainly. Sometimes I stream other games, but that's rather the exception. And I do potato plays, basically 5 times a week, 5:30. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Wonderful. To the point. And our final guest is MissLadyJay. Would you please go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm MissLadyJay. I also stream on Twitch with Gwent 5 days a week or 4 days a week, and then also Dark Souls and some other games on the weekend. And yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, lovely. Okay, so without any further ado, let's go on with the topics. First off, we're going to be starting off with the state of Gwent and some possible new features which we think could be good for the game, might not be, we shall see. So the first one, so we recently got to know that there will be this regular new card updates that we're going to be getting. You know, I think, when is it starting again, Crozyr? When is the regular update starting with that?
I believe the first drop should happen in June. So
In June,
2 months
right.
from now.
So, do you guys think that this is preferred or not, is the question, right? So, Crozyr, go ahead, start off. Do you think it's preferred or is it not?
So first when I heard about this, I was a bit on the fence because I was like, it's such a cool thing to have this big hype leading up to an expansion, and you kind of lose a bit of that if it becomes this regular thing and there's not that much stuff being dropped at once. But then I thought it's kind of like now we're looking forward to something that feels a bit more like a TV show where you get an episode every instead of every week, it's every 2 months, but you get this episode of something, and then it builds up from set to set, and it's still one big expansion that's dropped, but cut in 3. So I think it could actually work really well. And with what Ryan also mentioned on Twig today, I believe, in Persia, that you have like the league season in between, in the month where we don't get the new content. I think this could be a really nice dynamic where you always have something new to talk about, and that could really keep the game going and keep it from being so stale so quickly.
Okay. That's a very valid point. Rasheed, what do you think about it?
I mean, I pretty much agree with him. Yeah, what's there to hate? We get more frequent content. Why would I hate that?
So you think that the meta will keep changing and people will always be trying new things, right?
Yes.
So you
And
prefer
that's
it?
why I like it.
Right.
Yes.
And
Because I feel
MissLadyJay.
like-
Okay, go ahead. You said you had nothing to add, so you know.
Yeah,
Go
okay,
ahead.
thank you, cutting me off, dude. Now I forgot my point.
I see.
Yeah, I also agree with them too, because then it would. Because I know some people were feeling the meta might be a bit stale or somewhat, if there's a bigger gap between expansions and stuff. So yeah, bringing in regular content does help with the meta shift.
Yeah, I think
And
that's the first thing that went in everyone's head, right? Oh, new cards. We're not going to be really having the same meta. I think like what it was when Way of the Witcher first came out, right? I think it was 2 months of the same thing. People were like, "Oh my god, how are we gonna survive this?" People were getting literally burnt out at the game, right? So, okay. On that regard, as we're going to be seeing new updates, on a constant basis, what is your wish list, like any potential ideas that can improve the game kind of thing, like do you have anything in mind? And honestly, anyone can go with this, anyone can start off with this point.
Oh, I want to start off.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't get how they did the adrenaline visual indicator, but they forgot one of the best cards in the game. Master Mirror needs an indicator too for Pepegas like me, because I always end up like screwing myself over because I forget it sticks on the board. That's the first thing I want. Also, Gwent Classic, please.
Yeah, like a legacy mode would be pretty cool. I agree. Like something where you can just as like a mode that always exists. You have access to the last version of Beta Gwent, and you can just play there. The question is if the community is big enough for that. Like if there's too many players being spread across modes that way, but something like that would be so cool. And then of course, I feel like they're already working on this with some of the additions now that they've had in this 12 card drop, but there are still a few archetypes and tribes in the game that just need more cards to them or that feel a bit lonely. I think Arcuspo is the only plant in the game right now. If that's actually not outdated information, I think Arcuspo is a plant type card. Don't ask me why. And there is a lot of knights in Northern Realms that basically have zero payoff. Like there's just a few of these tribes that I think hopefully with every expansion that comes out will stop being so lonely and forgotten and have a point in existence.
And you are quite right with that plant thing. I just opened Arcuspo in the game and we see it's a plant. I never realized that, to be honest. I thought it was a beast actually when it comes to the archetype, but no, it's a plant. Okay. And MissLadyJay, how would you like to convey your wish list when it comes to this? Anything in mind?
Yeah, there was an idea I had a while ago. Crozyr knows of it because I've already had this idea on top of something that he was talking about, not on the stream but earlier, that maybe they could bring in something that, because when you're playing and then your opponent is already ahead of you in round 3, but then they play their last card and some people think that's BM, but they just want to show you their card. But there can also be this feature where they can just pass and then the game automatically flips over the card to show you what it was.
Okay, okay. So it's basically like a reveal and pass kind of button, right? Like, okay, this was my last card, but I didn't play it.
Only for round 3, yes. But I can see it can be problematic, especially if there's buggy stuff that happens in round 2 and it accidentally shows everyone's cards in round 2.
Yeah, so what I think is sometimes some people on the meta don't want everyone to see maybe what cards they still had in hand if they had a surprise and they don't want their surprise tag to be revealed. But what I would say is just make it an option to say, yeah, flip my cards at the end of the game or something.
Yeah.
And then if you want, you can show your opponent what you had that way. And I mean, personally, I would go a step further and I would say there should be a button that you can push at any point in the game and it flips all your cards in your hand. You can just show your opponent how superior your position is and BM them into forfeit. That's what I would
Artifact Beta actually had that.
Really?
Yes, but they took it away, sadly.
Well, maybe the reveal your hand thing might be a little, Monka-esque as they say. But I think the wish list thing that MissLadyJay has put forward is actually not a bad idea because people take it wrong that it's BM, but it's our assumption that if they play the last card knowing they're not gonna win, they want to see your last card basically. But some people are like, oh my god, it's BM, but it's kind of like this misunderstanding, and it's actually a really good solution in that sense. I like that a lot. That's pretty good.
I like it too. A lot of times on stream, you're like, "Oh, come on, play your last card. I want to see what you had or something," and then they just pass because you wanted to do. You were just curious what would have happened, right? And then, yeah.
That's pretty good. And with this wish listing that we're talking about, what do you guys think of this patch? It's a 32-day season, with what, 1 day already gone. So what do you guys think about this patch? What do you think you're gonna see? Anyone can
A lot
go
of
ahead.
line pockets. The same as last season, lots of line pockets. Even though Drill got a nerf.
A so-called nerf. What do you guys think of that nerf? What do you guys think? Like, MissLadyJay, go ahead. You can continue on that.
I think it should have gotten a bigger nerf, to be honest, because you could just downgrade, I don't know what, Dijkstra into a heat wave, and there you go, it's still the same. It's still the same deck. Somewhat.
Yeah, I think people removed pickpocket and put in an eavesdrop and are like,
All that,
I'm
yeah.
happy. New deck. Rasheed, what about you? Other than Mill, what do you think?
Well, I have a prediction. It's kind of ballsy and crazy, but I think NR isn't gonna get any other archetype this patch, like this season, other than Witcher, sadly. Because that buff.
Uh-huh.
Why only one card?
I mean, Bellahun. We can trust him.
And
right?
Lebioda. And Lebioda was buffed.
I didn't even know you could run that card in NR. That's how bad it is.
Well, with Bellahun, I've actually seen Shamiri play Bellahun. He was quite successful with it in Shield Wall. I tried myself, and I think I only dropped by 40 MMR. It was surprisingly still horrible. But even funnier, Tunnel Roll got nerfed so hard that I ended up seeing even more line pockets on the ladder. I don't know how that worked. Maybe just people trying to farm the ones that are trying to experiment around. I think I personally had my worst start into a season ever. I was on like 15 to 30 trying out all the newly buffed cards and nothing worked. But I heard that Saber did well with Honor Guard. So maybe, I mean, that card actually got a pretty decent buff. Maybe if you can squeeze it in a SK Warrior deck, that could help. But is any of it gonna feature in a like top tier deck that you'll see regularly on the meta? I don't know. It's a bit of a doubt from me, but I'd be I'd be welcoming and open for new decks that come out of it somehow.
I only know of Lebioda because I revealed him in first reveal season, I think.
And yeah, I mean, I did see Saber was trying the Arnagad card, and yeah, it is pretty successful. And I think he wasn't even running Sucrus, which was actually quite a big surprise because usually this guy in Sucrus is kind of like nothing's gonna survive, right? Whatever is played is just dead. So, is there anything else you would like to put in on this new patch? Anything that comes to mind where it's like, okay, maybe this could have been done, but they didn't do it, kind of thing. Other than the drill, of course. We know the drill requires a bigger nerf. Everyone knows that. Anything else you guys think, which you've seen on ladder, or you've seen, being kind of abused in a way, which many people might have not seen?
I wish they had buffed Oberon. I want to see more Oberon.
Okay.
Oberon.
Buffed Oberon in what way, though? But in what way? In what way?
One more power, maybe, and maybe one less provision. He never gets to see play anymore.
Provision might be a little too much to ask for, because I think every other transforming card is, I think, locked at 12 provisions. It's kind of like the staple.
Oh yeah, right? They're all at the same, yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole point, right, for that transformation kind of card. But I don't see it being a problem being 6. That I agree with. And I think even when I was discussing it, that many people think that the devotion status should also be like Oberon creates and plays a wild hunt unit from your starting hand and starting deck, I mean, and not create a wild hunt unit. So if you've not played your riders till now, you can actually have a chance to get your riders out, because this is only stage 3, right? You've been really unlucky if you didn't draw one rider till now. So other than that, that was kind of like this other buff that we were thinking about, because if you see stuff like Skellige, right, I think Herald is as good as playing from starting deck, wouldn't you agree? Because it's from the graveyard, kind of. So, like, I feel there are a few changes they could make to Oberon to make him better. So I think this idea of Oberon getting a buff is not a bad one. I think it's a good point that you stumbled upon there. And Crozyr, anything to add on that? Like, apart from Oberon, any other card that you think deserves it?
Yeah. So apart from Oberon, I know they kind of said they didn't want to touch the new leader art cards yet, but I feel like what they could have done maybe is, and that's like the go-to fix that they've done to so many Syndicate cards, they could take Cleaver and slap cooldown 1 on him, so he can only spawn one muscle each turn, because it feels so unfair on top of how good this card already is that it just spams the coins in such an effective way and like a token that you can't really kill.
Good point.
And I think if he only could do 1, that would already be like, it wouldn't make the card that much weaker, because I think it's good that Syndicate has some powerful cards. They were really bad for a long time, right? But I feel like if he had cooldown 1, that would already help a bit with the issue.
I mean, yeah, totally. I agree with that, because I think as soon as you play this guy near a crown splitter, I think he plays for value almost instantly, right? Which is pretty insane when you consider cards like Neve and Foltest, you know, which like basically require this kind of a setup thing to play, and it's basically 10 provisions. So yeah, like definitely, it makes a lot of sense that Cleaver could get that cooldown 1, I think. Yeah. And Rasheed, what about you? As I said, other than Mill, anything else?
Okay, so I feel like both the new legendaries NR got are really underwhelming, and I just like wish they would get tweaked or buffed in any way.
Neve and Foltest, right?
Like,
basically.
Yeah, even Foltest. I feel like it's really underwhelming, because a lot of times like when I play him, people just pass, and then I spend 12 provisions round 1 and have no payoff out of it.
I think, yeah, I see even in chat that people say that, you know, they need to stop calling one provision changes balance, and things like, you know, Cleaver is overtuned, as Ian said. I agree with that.
What do you mean? When they nerfed Lippy by 1 provision, that was it. Lippy was gone.
What? I was still playing Lippy.
No, Lippy is still
being
there.
Sarcastic.
Yeah, Lippy's still there. Like if you see, if you see Magpie, I think in Skellige, I think Magpie only plays Lippy and nothing else, because it's still a good card.
Oh yeah, same.
So yeah, and just herself.
Disgusting.
And other than that, there's one more quick point that I want to look over here. That exactly, Crozyr answered it. That was a bug fix for Brewer, actually. Even I thought it was a buff, but apparently Brewer was supposed to boost himself from the very beginning. So yeah, that's actually a bug fix. And okay, so as the new patch came out, we just had a recent season complete. Can you tell me your favorite decks? Not only which is kind of like a meta list which made you win, but one list that is your favorite, which, you know, gets you ahead and gets you that 2600, 2800 MMR, as I tell Crozyr, and your favorite meme deck as well. And I'll start with Rasheed on that. Please don't say Mill. Thank you.
It's gonna be Mill.
Okay, my favorite list that I climbed with last season was Devotion Pincer Maneuver NR, which sounds bad, but it's surprisingly not that bad.
What was it with Archgriffin?
No, I took him out. That card is so bad. There's no redeeming that card, honestly. Like, that's too much even for me. And favorite meme list? I can't say Mill, because like Mill, I think is the best meta deck in the game, obviously. So I don't know, like Monster Mill, I guess.
Oh god, Monster Mill.
Monster Mill.
I actually brought that Monster Mill topic up when it was first when was it a change to Williard? Yeah. When I had a podcast with McBeard actually on Commander's Horn. Then I brought up Monster Mill. But yeah.
And
I think I've never lost them out so quickly.
Honestly, like Monster Mill needs one small tweak.
that is.
Like whatever unit Goliath summons doesn't have to be on the same row. Because sometimes when I'm milling, the row gets full and I don't mill him for any more.
Oh no.
Like that's my only complaint, yeah.
So
That's
it
so
should be a random row rather than the same
Yeah.
row, right? Okay.
Yeah, please
okay.
buff mill CDPR.
I never even got that far with the milling, but yeah, that's true. That's even worse. So even if you get that far, it stops. Oh no.
All right. And Crozyr, what was your favorite meta and meme deck? What would you say like was your go-to when you say favorite?
So last season, the one that I actually climbed with the most, got the highest score with, I think it was 2560 or something, was Sachimi's Scorch Trap stack. So you just like slam elves in round 1 and then win that way and play all your units, and then in round 3 you've got traps and removal and Scorch and like a big Venosial finisher or something. And that deck looks a bit like a meme because you're running Scorch, right? And what I hate about that card is that you can only play it from hand. You can't tutor it. I really think that's something that's another thing for the wish list actually that should really hopefully at some point be addressed, that initiative cards might be able to be tutored again. I feel like that's not something that initiative should be there for. But like if you draw Scorch in this deck, you can get really great value even against Cleaver, because like often Syndicate pushes you around 2, they slam down Cleaver, they spawn 2 Cleaver's muscles, and you have 3 5-point units on the board that you just slam with Scorch if you drew it. I happen to climb with it. I drew Scorch often enough. And then my favorite meme deck is Salamander. I mean, I revealed the card, and on the last day of the season, I even played Salamander and had like 3 wins in a row at the end on my last stream for season end. So yeah, Salamander is just amazing when it works. Just the whole board lights up in joy and death.
Lovely. And what about you, Jess?
Is this all time or just last season?
No, just last season. All time, that can wait.
I think the one I climbed the most with was also this Scorch Trap deck. At first I got to 2.55k with, I think, a combination with Kelly deck and V. And then I was like, okay, let me give the Scorch deck a try. And then it overtook my monster score within like 2 days. So yeah, that was that. With meme decks, I don't think I really played meme decks.
No fun allowed. I'm just.
So
I could say Lippy, but I don't know if people think that
No.
Lippy's a meme.
Lippy is not meme. But it's fine. If you don't have a meme deck, it's totally fine. To be fair, I don't have a meme deck myself because I was tryharding. So, it's fine. No problem at all. So, going on with this kind of changes that we see, and sometimes we are seeing that they're trying to somewhat implement beta ideas back, with some really crazy point swings and these OP cards, aka iced. I think all 3 of you have been playing this game since the beta stages of the game, correct? All 3 of you. Even Rasheed,
Yes.
I'm surprised, but even Rasheed has been there. And what I would like to ask you about that is, when you see this transition of beta Gwent, the homecoming Gwent, like what do you like and dislike the most about that, Because it's a big transition. We went from 3 rows to 2 rows because of the mobile support. We see row caps, we see provisions and whatnot, we see so many things. So I would like to go with MissLadyJay first with this. So don't worry. And what are your likes and dislikes, Miss Lady J? What would you say?
I think in beta, I liked not having a hand size limit with cards. I think I miss that more. I'm fine with the 2 rows, I think. Oh, and also the row cap, I also miss.
Okay, so when it comes to so that's the only thing that you miss, right? That you can't have a bigger hand than 10 cards, and you can't have more than 9 on a row, right?
I also miss my Axeman and Greatsword stack, but hey.
Okay, that's basically what you're saying is you dislike those changes. But was there anything you thought that, okay, this is good? Like from beta, okay, I see this thing as a positive thing. Do you see anything like that?
I like the provision system with the cards. And I also like that the cards don't look like post stamps like in beta.
What?
That
was the best part.
They're tiny, man.
I mean, I know, like a lot of people did say that, oh, I love the post stamp Gwent, like those mini cards, and You have so many cards on the board doing things, and it's like this chaos that was created, with no row caps and things like that. So
Yeah, I mean, I
Mhm.
also like a lot of stuff that did come into Homecoming, like the 3D models, the boards that look really cool. They look more realistic than beta, and like things such as order and stuff. That's pretty nice in this game too, compared
Okay.
to beta.
Okay, so order wasn't a thing back then. Okay, right.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Would you like to add anything else? Any other like or dislike you think?
That's all I can think of
All
now.
you can think of. Okay, if you think of anything, feel free to, stop Rashid and say your point. Okay, Crozyr, what about you? What do you like and dislike in this transition?
So just already mentioned a lot of the mechanical stuff. I think the hand size limit's kind of necessary for the whole Homecoming gameplay of being able to play more cards in round one before the opponent will always get card advantage over you. Because with the hand size limit, if you just pass twice, you will go to the same amount of cards. And that wasn't possible in the original Gwent, where the opponent would just draw more cards than you, and they'd always have card advantage. I think that's why they had to make that call. I know why it might still feel like it's kind of sad that you have this weird limit in your hand, but I think that's just part of the system. And ultimately, I feel like it worked out well. What I miss the most, actually, or maybe I should say what I also like, is in general the amount of mechanics and statuses and all these extra things that have come in from with expansion to expansion that just adds more variety and more possible dimensions to how you have to plan out and sequence your game plan. I think all of that is really great. What I miss the most, actually, is less something mechanical and more something about the general feel of the game, because I felt like not just did Beta Gwent often feel a bit snappier because you just snap card after card after card, but what I think Beta Gwent was doing a bit better from what I personally enjoy was it was more over the top sometimes. It was more crazy explosive with the abilities. If you think back, you had X-Men that just boom went 500 points, I don't know. Then the weather effects that were triggering. You had Neckers that kept pooping out 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 points with every Necker that came out there. You had Viper Witches that dealt 15 damage. You had Great Swords that were 20-point reses. I mean, you can also hate this and say it's more binary or more, what do you call it, more swingy or whatever, what the buzzwords that are thrown around. But I felt like that game had more craziness to it. The meta decks were not so mid-rangey all the time. And I feel like they've been trying to get back some of this spirit without overdoing it, and I hope that's going to continue as more expansions are being released. But for the longest time, that was my biggest gripe with Homecoming, that many decks kind of felt a bit too similar to mid-rangey, and there was this spark missing that made the old Gwent decks unique in whatever they were doing.
Right.
I remember one thing quickly.
Go ahead.
I also like the whole stratagem thing in Homecoming, helping with blue coin. That's what I wanted to say.
Right. And Rashid, what would you say was the most disliked and most liked thing about this transition?
Okay, so the thing I'm happiest about is that Sabbath is no longer a thing. That was my most hated card of any card game I ever played. That card was so bad, it was so dumb, and I'm glad that they keep nerfing it and making it worse and worse. Whenever I see that art now, I'm just happy. What I like honestly the 10 hand, like the 10 cards limit, because a lot of times in like Beta Gwent, since there was no cap, so when someone was bleeding you, they could always pass at any point. Like there was no, oh, I'm up to 10, so I only play down to 7 or whatever. So if you're being bled, if you ran engines, it's really hard. It was really hard for you to set up your engines, then defend the bleed. Also, I miss 13-point spies.
Okay. Yeah, spies apparently was a big thing back then, right? I think they had more
Nice.
yeah, keywords like reveal and things like that. As Crozyr was saying, they had weather effects which had positive effects on your monsters, which is pretty cool. I think I remember seeing one card on Gwent 1 which was the, we see this, let me show you guys quickly which card I'm talking about. So if you see this wolf, what is it called? You see this wolf. So we see it's a werewolf which just has the werewolf which has immunity, right? 4/4. And I saw this card in beta, and it said that on first contact with the full moon, this thing boosts by 7. So that was kind of like this positive thing, and it was immune at the same time. I don't think you could touch it even then, but it had that kind of effect which you can support weather with it, which is pretty cool because now we see all the weathers being negative. So
I miss Blood Moon actually.
Yeah, there used to be 2 weather effects that were positive, I believe. You had the moonlight had something, so you could either do it offensively, and then it was Blood Moon, and Moonlight was the effect on your side of the row, and that would impact things like Werewolf, and I think it would just buff cards every turn. And then there was also like a Golden Froth effect that would just buff everything somehow. I'm not quite sure exactly what it did, but like those 2 I remember. Yeah, would be cool.
Okay.
To get something like that again.
All right. And now, since we've dwelled upon the current state of Gwent and the beta state of Gwent, the next question I would like to ask you guys is, this can be from any season, any era of Gwent. Okay, this answer. Your most disliked meta deck and why you dislike it the most. Like, it's from the history of Gwent. You might think that, why would this thing even exist, kind of thing. And do you think that they improved on it? Do you think that the current Gwent is actually better in that sense when it comes to that kind of a deck? You can take a little bit of time to think about it. I can give you some time, no problem, because it's a pretty good question.
Rasheed looks ready to answer.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, okay.
I hate this trap ST. I hate uninteractive spell, no unit ST. It's so dumb. It shouldn't be a thing.
It's the best
part.
Not
even like playing Gwent. No, Mill. That's wholesome non-interactive gameplay. But this isn't. This is an abomination.
Feldy is like, fight, Crozyr and Rasheed, fight. No, we don't want that. Anything else you think that is bad, Rasheed? Anything else?
Lippy. Lippy. I want to see Lippy gone. Awesome. I want to see Lippy completely gone, deleted.
Lippy's wholesome.
No, he's not. Lippy's a gateway drug. That's what Lippy is. You used to play Lippy, now you play unitless ST. All I'm saying.
I can't think of my most hated deck. I think you're ready, aren't you?
I mean, see, the thing is, I don't make this up when I say I don't really hate decks. Usually, the only way I hate decks is when I have to play against them over and over and over and over again. And I think one deck that was around for an eternity, or actually 3 decks that were around for an eternity, that 2 of them I actually have fallen off. It's like the 3 scenario decks, actually. It's Passiflora, it's Ball, and actually the third one's not a scenario deck, it's Harmony. Those 3, where the whole deck was kind of built around those, they lasted for like what felt like, I don't know, 8-9 months in different iterations of always being there, and I was getting so frustrated with them because they just outbully most decks that are like slightly sub-optimized, and I would just get frustrated with them. And then it comes down to what I was saying before, that we're slightly like always on the samey side of populating your deck with your side of the board with engines cheaply and spawning multiple ones at a time, and then having some thick removal against what you have. Like, it would usually come down to that, and I got tired of that. And I think besides Ball, which nowadays also works a bit differently with the whole Cantarella scheme that it has and Cloggers, which that's why I'm actually happy that it's different now, even though I know people hate Cloggers. I'd rather have it be different than the same stuff from 5 months ago again. That's the ones that I hated the most.
Okay. And MissLadyJay, have you thought of anything where you think that, oh my god, no?
I do remember it was not last season, it was the season before, where I got so triggered on stream every time I kept queuing into SK Warriors with Ursine Ritual. that deck was so boring to see every time and play against every time. I was just like, can this deck just be gone and stop playing it? It just made me triggered. It's not like it was like outlandish or crazy in terms of like no unit or whatever. It just was so boring to see all the time and annoying to play against. I know I did hate some other decks in Nilfgaard. It was probably I think it was Hyperthin that made me angry quite a lot.
I'm surprised no one said Lockdown. You guys think Lockdown was fine at one point?
I played Lockdown a lot. I actually did enjoy playing Lockdown. So
Okay. And I think Lockdown just got toxic, I think, when it came to Way of the Witcher, right? When it had all these cards which have, especially Mentor, I think the Viper Witcher Mentor, which has this insane point slam capability, which I don't think NG ever had before, right? And I think up until that moment, I think Lockdown was fine. And then someone makes that Ciri Nova deck, which Shaggy even took to 2600, and then everyone starts to play that, and then, well, Lockdown was gone in one patch. So, is any other deck that comes to mind, or is that it? Anything to do with dwarves, maybe? I think there was a dwarves deck.
Another deck that I hate to see, or that actually annoys me, it's Northern Realms Witches. I just see it so often on the ladder. I'm just getting so annoyed seeing it on the ladder.
I mean, do you still see it on the ladder though?
I mean, the season just started, but I did see it quite often last season.
Okay. I mean, it has seen a significant nerf though. But yeah, Crozyr, what were you saying?
I actually just remembered the deck, and that was all the way before I even started streaming. Back in closed beta, it was Dagon.
Beta?
It was Dagon. It was the season that I tried to hit Grandmaster for the first time, which was like the old pro rank. And that deck, man, it had weather effects. Dagon could still spawn weather. What are you saying, Jess?
It's wholesome.
It was absolutely horrible. I'm not sure. Like that thing, it would spawn fog, and all the foglets came out, and it would just have lots of removal, and everything I tried would fail, and it would always be there. And I remember queuing, and I was sitting there praying it was not going to be Dagon again. Please no Dagon. Please no Dagon. And then it was Dagon, and I was like slamming my table and stuff. I remember that. That was way back. Way back. Yeah.
Okay. If we're talking about beta decks too, then I have the most. Oh my god, dwarfs back then. That's when I started with Axemen, because Axemen used to counter those dwarfs. Before Create was a thing, when they brought in those I don't know what was called, that elf that creates a bronze elf.
Elven Scout or something.
Scout. And then there was also Ida that could clear weather, and I got so mad because they high rolled with these clear weathers. Oh my god. It was the dwarf with Marigold's Hailstorm, and there was Zoltan, and it was just a really overpowered deck.
It's like all these cards do something completely different nowadays.
Alchemy was very dead and made me rage a lot. I kept praying I didn't queue into Alchemy with great swords.
I think this card was one card which was pretty broken, I heard. The Dwarven Mercenary. And now they've just killed it by saying it damages self by 1 for each non-dwarf unit. I think this thing used to damage other units or something because he's holding a crossbow, right? Was this like a toxic?
Why is he 7 for 5 with such a garbage condition? Sometimes I forget that these cards still exist. Yeah, that thing should be like, what, 10 for 5 and still be bad? I don't know.
Exactly.
Oh, do you know what else was bad in beta? Was the War Dancer meta.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, don't remind me of that. No.
When they mulliganed in between and just passed casually. That's like the worst.
I don't know if you know Zubedoo, but if you had War Dancer in your hand and you mulliganed it and the round started, it would jump onto the board. So your opponent couldn't dry pass for card advantage.
Oh, so it was basically like Knickers on steroids or something? Like, was that how it was?
Yeah, I mean, basically, right? It's not. So the chance though is from whether you draw it and have a mulligan ready for it, because you just literally draw. Like, you don't play a card, right? So you can just pass without committing anything, and the opponent can't try pass. Yeah. So basically.
Oh yeah, they used to call it the scoia'tael and things like that, right? I think.
Oh no, it
And
wasn't part
then
of scoia'tael.
okay, it
Was
wasn't
the
part of
mulligan
that.
archetype?
It was,
All
yeah,
right.
mulligan.
Wow, there's so many back then. Okay, but like I think they had these passive abilities as well, right? I think like what Witcher 3 had, like scoia'tael can decide who goes first and things like that. Was that
Oh,
there in beta as well?
that was closed beta. That wasn't open beta.
It was in open beta. Okay, so yeah.
No, closed beta.
Yeah, it wasn't in. It wasn't in open. I'm getting
Yeah,
confused
yeah.
myself. Okay, all right. So, all right. Now let's go on to another question here, regarding card games in general, right? So I think we know something called rotation. I think Crozyr and MissLadyJay, do you guys know about this? Because I know Rasheed knows about it. Are you guys aware of
Yeah.
rotation?
I think Crozyr told me the other night. I just forgot.
No,
Do
it,
you? Okay.
I know what it is.
Okay. All right. So, do you guys think that a rotational thing to do in Gwent would be a good idea? Do you guys think that if that's implemented, things like Lippy or things like other decks which you feel, oh my god, I'm done with this deck kind of thing, goes away? What
Oh,
We
would
wait, I
should
do
you?
start
know.
with Miss Lady J.
I don't
Alright.
remember what it is. I remember. Okay, I remember now. Because I love how Zubedoo is like, okay, we're just gonna go on with the topic.
Uh,
No, but go
Let's
ahead.
start with Crozyr.
Okay,
No,
let's
no,
Yeah.
okay, Crozyr. All right, anyone.
all right. So I hope they will never do this. I personally I don't really know why people like this so much. I guess the idea is once the card pool becomes too big, it's impossible to create a balance, and like there's too many cards that are garbage anyway, or it's just impossible to keep them all playable. I feel like Gwent's card pool isn't big enough for that to be relevant yet, and with the number of cards that they're adding all the time, I hope it's not going to come to that anytime soon. I feel like with Gwent in particular, many of these card arts that we've seen, people have kind of grown somewhat attached to the card art and the voice lines, and they rather see them being buffed and then get a new ability that makes them playable again than removed forever due to rotations. I personally hope it's not going to come to that, and I believe Snarma has said it multiple times that they don't want to do it as long as they can avoid it. I guess in 10 years from now, when there's 3,000 Gwent cards, then maybe it becomes necessary, but we'll see if we even get there.
Okay.
I
Rasheed.
also think
And okay,
that.
go ahead.
Well, what?
No, go ahead.
I
I
also
thought you
think-
didn't want to. I thought you wanted to think more about it, so I was gonna give it to Rasheed. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I remember about one point. The other week on Twig, it was a few weeks ago, I think. Someone asked the same question to Burza, and he said he doesn't think they will bring it in. Yeah, he just said they don't want to bring it into the game. They could change their minds, but yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't like that either.
Right. I mean, they say a lot of things that they don't want to bring into the game, but somehow we
Yeah.
see them creep in, right?
We
Yeah.
will have premium tokens.
Yeah,
Q
exactly.
Burgess Twig, we're gonna have premium tokens.
Straight from the
Yeah.
Unity engine, here's the preview. I'm like, wow. And then and then we see the Garcane becoming 4 for 4. We see the Ice Troll becoming 4 for 4. I don't know what the Salamandra card is, the 4 for 4, which gains for gains 1 point if you've gained a coin during the turn. I don't remember.
And doesn't
I
have a
think-
mage tag.
let me quickly check the card.
Oh, are we talking about a different one?
No, it's a new one. It was just added in the Way of the Witcher. It's this one, yeah. The Lackey. We're talking about the Lackey.
okay.
It's a straight 4 for 4, and they were saying, okay, we are not gonna match it. We're not gonna keep it 4 for 4, etc. Now we even see Were-Rat at 6 for 6, for example. So we can never really say that something is out of question, I think, when it comes to this. So we have to just wait and see. But I think that I don't know if rotation will be good because I've never really gone through with it. But Rasheed, what would you say? Would you like it? Would you like it in the game?
I would love a rotation because other than like rotating cards that we're sick of, like Lippy, I feel like if you look at the last 2 expansions, like there's been a little power creep happening, and if you look at like some of the new designs, like cloggers or unitless trap ST. Like, I think they're running out of ideas to make cards playable. So in that sense, like, you gotta sometimes rotate some cards out to give like the chance for new cards to be played.
Okay. I mean, it is a valid point, but I think again, as Crozyr had mentioned, I think that only would have a big effect on maybe a greater card pool. You know, like as he said, around what
Yeah.
3,000 cards maybe.
Yeah, I'm not saying I want it right now, but I think like it should be something that's considered.
That's
down
considered.
the
I'm,
line.
I'm I'm sure it is considered. 100%. It is a card game after all. So yeah, definitely. And I think the next question that I will be asking is a little out of the blue, and you might think like, oh my god, can we really see this happening? So we see these new things like auto chess, and we see all the, I think which card game was it, Rashid, that implemented it recently and got positive?
Hearthstone?
I think it was Hearthstone, right? I think so.
Yeah.
So where they have this autoplay kind of feature, right, where you build a deck and then you can basically I think match make with another person in the same way, and then make the AI face off each other, right, for each player, and see how the deck goes. It's kind of like an AI versus AI kind of thing. But do you guys think that that's something good in Gwent, where to implement something, or how do you think it would be in this game? Just like what?
I don't think it would be that great. Because how would the
Yeah.
AI know? How smart would the AI have to be to play that specific archetype you've built in your deck builder against another
No.
one?
So the way like Underlords works is or like Hearthstone. Okay, let's explain it with Hearthstone. It is cards. You pick them, you put them on your row, and they attack from left to right. And your opponents, it's the same thing. So it's all about like positioning and using your AI to your advantage. Like, it's not like a normal game of Gwent. It wouldn't be
So-
like that.
Entirely new game mode, basically, with
Yes.
cards and yeah. I mean, I think if I can quickly hijack the question here,
Go ahead.
I would definitely think that like opening up Gwent to new types of modes like that, for example, is always a good idea. Or like if it's within the capacities and resources of CDPR, because there's simply these different maybe you can call them trends in this overall genre of CCG, where you have these different type of subgenres, and to capitalize from that, I think is not a bad idea, as long as it's executed well. If they find a way to do it well, only if they only throw it in as a quick half measure thing, so they have something like it, I don't know, then it would be pretty bad. But it would have to be something that's very well thought through and executed well, and I guess you have enough art and the general coding in the game to do it, and it would definitely be something I'd try out if it was there.
So you wouldn't mind it, basically, right? If CDPR are basically able to put in time and effort into making this, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. And Jess doesn't like it at all, right? I think. No.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
What do you
So-
want, Jess? Like a battle royale instead?
No, it's a bit like they could, I don't know, make draft better, or like have incentive to play draft. There's no rewards for winning.
Yeah.
True. But many people want Arena back, which I don't think is going to happen, because I think very much today, I think on Twig, Buzza made it quite clear that Arena's dead. I think they've buried it completely, and we're never going to be seeing it again. And yeah, basically F for Arena. So
F Arena.
yeah. So before concluding this main topic, I saw one question during this where someone asked, should journeys be put out to support Masters prize pool like Valve does with Dota 2 tournaments? Like, do you think that's something that they can implement when it comes to that? Or just this stuff where they put in the shop, and if you buy it, 30% proceedings go there, basically? That's the only thing they've implemented now. But do you think Journey should also support it? What do you guys think about that?
Mm,
So I think it would obviously make way more money for the players as well, and therefore create maybe a bigger incentive to try to participate in esports if the prizes are bigger. I mean, I don't have any insights into CDPR's financial reports there, where the most money from Gwent comes from, but I would assume the journey is probably a more significant part than the small packages that they have specifically for the opens. I'm actually amazed with how much money they already make with those. And I think the first one actually made the most because it was like a new thing and it was in the shop for very long. I think, if at all, they maybe should also try to have them in the shop for a longer time previously to the prior to the open, because they sometimes appear like, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks before the open happens, and then people barely have time to purchase them. I do know where you're coming from, though. I know in Dota they have these battle passes. I used to have them myself every time it came out, and I think that would definitely be a way to make it more lucrative for players that want to participate in esports.
All right. And would anyone else like to add anything to that?
Not
I mean-
really, no.
No, okay. Yeah, it's just a question. And one last thing about that is someone had put, because I don't know about this, he really liked the Second Wind Warriors pre-nerf Herald, which crushed my opponents playing blindfolded. Which deck is this person talking about?
Pre-nerf Second Wind. That's when you could res a warrior, skeleton warrior, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was
I
Harold doing piercing damage or something? Is that what he
Oh,
said?
Yeah,
yes.
that's true.
Yeah,
That was absolutely crazy.
Armor, yeah.
So this was when Master Mirror came out, I assume. Yeah. So it was the first week after Master Mirror. I think that was hotfixed even. That was really rough. And if it wasn't hotfixed, that was a horrible month.
You could res Harold, and he would do damage through armor.
You had to decide, do I even kill Harald because it just comes back anyway and reses another thing? Oh god, yeah, that was bad.
Wow. Rashid, do you remember that, or are you just sticking to mill still?
Yeah, I do remember that, and I hated that. I remember like one game on stream, because I just came back to Gwent at that point. I killed Harold, and I was so happy, and then he just second-winded him back. And like, what do you even do at that point?
Or you
Like,
could
can't
even
kill
use,
it?
or you could use like what's it, Mork Fog in round 1, and then res in round 2 if you're going tall with your unit. So he's got a double Mork Fog.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds pretty insane. But I mean, now Morkbug's even got the slight nerf where they, remove the warrior tag, which is pretty good. So maybe in that meta it would have been better. But I think most people just sadly draw into him, don't they? I think Morkbug in itself is still an insane card. So I really don't see that being much of a nerf. But okay.
I think the way it works is the opponent draws into him and you never draw him. That's
Yeah,
usually-
exactly. that is true. It's the worst feeling ever, and it happens to me every single day. But I think we can conclude the first topic with that. Now let's move on to a little community-related stuff before we end. Just around 15 minutes max. If you guys have any questions community-related in the chat, please put them down. I will be looking into them. Before concluding, we will look into that as well. So yeah, I think this question I had asked even the previous guests in a way, but I want your views on it, basically about what you three think about it. And it's about this community event stuff, right? Like I think we saw the what do you call it, the speed run from rank 30 to pro rank and things like that, which was being really hyped by the community, right? But not CDPR themselves, but it was literally the community driving that whole thing, that Trinet's going to try it, Red Rain did this, Red Rain did that. And what do you guys think? Do you think CDPR should actively take and show more focus in those things to really push those things forward as a proper event more than just a community thing? Anyone can go ahead. Anyone. It's open. It's open to everyone.
So specifically to speedruns, actually, I saw some people talking about it as like a controversial topic because you're bullying the poor level 25 players, or rank 25 players, so just get squashed by you, and then everyone's celebrating that in the chat. It's like, I can see why maybe CDVR doesn't want to support that particular thing. In general, though, I'd be absolutely all for that. I actually saw the other day in a completely different game, in Age of Empires 2, when you launch that game, there's like a banner that says, oh, there's currently this big community event going on. Click here to get there and watch the Twitch stream on these casters' channels or something. I think if they did that with this little box that we have in Gwent in the left where the new sticker goes through in the main menu, you could easily put in something like, yeah, currently the TLG Invitational is going on, or like the I don't know, Potato Cup one day. I don't know, like whatever you've got going there.
That's like on the Reddit sidebar with the event.
So I would actually suggest when it's like a bigger tournament, obviously with a lot of work behind and everything, or even I don't know, maybe even for other smaller stuff, you could just not too obtrusively, but just like as a small side thing, say, hey, this is going on, and you just have to click here, and you're moved to that stream, and I think that would get people that don't usually watch Twitch maybe get to. There is no Potato Cup, Zubin. I'm not actually advertising myself, but yeah, if like you would basically have like a way to get people that usually don't go to Twitch to find out about it in the main client, and that might really further people the influx of new people for the community.
I know that Blizzard also had a thing where they were advertising community content creators that are quite small, that are playing either Overwatch or Hearthstone or whatever, and it's in the Blizzard launcher. They put the stream and the name of the person on the main screen of that game title that they're playing, so people can just click on the link to the stream.
So it was basically not an official thing, but Blizzard still supported it, right? Seeing it as something that the community is doing, is it?
Well, I think because I was also asked to do this, to play Hearthstone, but I turned it down because Hearthstone.
Okay.
One of the Blizzard employees asked me if I wanted to play Hearthstone, and then they would advertise me on the Blizzard launcher. But it was for some special thing. I think it was an expansion drop, and I just had to play it for like 2 hours or something like that. But they could do something like what Crozyr said. It's something similar.
The Potato Cup. Okay. And Rashid, what would you like to add to that?
I mean, like, that's realistically all we can ask for them. Like, what else or how else? Like, they shouldn't. I feel like they shouldn't really do
Give
anything.
more Metroid powder.
Spectator mode.
Yeah, spectator mode
would be nice.
Yeah, guys, I don't know why this is like, okay, we're 2021 is the year. Yeah, okay, I just had to check. I still feel like, for some reason, I mean, I've played so many games in my life, and so many games had kind of like such an easy way to enter like a game lobby where you could have like spectators and players and everything. And I don't know why it can't be done for Gwent at all. Within like years of time, and instead you get this extremely buggy spectator client that works less often than it doesn't work. And I don't know how this whole thing had to be so difficult. It probably just
game chats.
No. From experience, from Artifact, you don't want that in the game. Trust me. I see people getting pissed off about being emoted. Trust me, it's way worse. It's way worse.
Or you know what I would like in the game also? When you taunt, not instead of taunt, you could say hello, or is there a sorry? There's no sorry, right?
People always make the argument.
And it was always used to be the sorry emoji.
Yeah, it was always like a sarcastic, oh, I'm sorry.
But the hello one?
Yeah, a big scorch, hello.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think there were more emotes earlier, but yeah, now they've toned it down so that there's no sarcasm as such. I think they only brought back that sarcasm a little bit with Alzio, seeing his lines. But yeah, forgive me, but I must destroy you is one I think which is one quite sarcastic, but yeah.
Cards originally were actually supposed to talk to each other, like in Dota, where if there's cards that have like some lore between them, like Geralt comes out and it's like, "Oh, Ciri, what are you doing?" Like on the other side, I don't know. Like they would talk to each other, but I think that was cut.
I think someone did mention that in This Week in Gwent, in the previous episode, where we have more interactive emotes when there's one leader facing a certain other leader, like Geralt versus Ciri, or something like, Dijkstra and Cleaver, or something like that, where they have these unique interactions with each other. But, and Burza himself said, I really like that, so who knows, in the future we might see that stuff. And as Ian says, I have to get ready for the Shuptons on Sunday because we're playing in the tournament, and people are just gonna be spamming emotes. But I think the fact that they removed these little sarcastic things is good. It keeps the tone of the game lighter, and it's basically don't look like you're being rude to the guy. So all right, other than community events on that topic, I think another thing is what do you guys think about this stuff, like Slama and Burza and people like that visiting streams and making a small stream, a Gwent streamers day? What do you guys think about that? Do you think they should be doing that more and not only during expansions?
Yes.
What would you say? Yes?
Yes, I would like that. I mean, Burza came into my chat today, and I was happy about that.
Yeah.
So you guys know how I'm usually trying to be positive on stream? It's like the one time I was like, why does Medoc not have voice lines? What is this? The one time I say something negative, Slama is in my stream, and immediately it's like, yeah, it was a short-term decision. We didn't have time to make voice lines. And I was like, it's like the first time Slama's here, and he catches me like shitting on something dumb. It's But yeah, I mean, it's always cool to have Des there. I think if they do it, they shouldn't do it out of like some kind of contract or as like a thing they have to do. Maybe they should just be made aware of how awesome this is for smaller streamers and like how it can really push people, and then do it out of their own volition. Because I think if they do it like because they feel like they have to, then it's gonna be a bit like fake, or I don't know.
It's like Rashid going all streamers chat with this partner badge.
That is true. That's true. I've been seeing him lurking in many more streams since he's become partner.
Lurking, not typing.
Oh no,
there's a difference. Dude.
No. You type hi first, and if you get a good reply, you just continue on the topic. Otherwise, you just wait.
No, I don't. I give a bit. I give 1 bit to hide my partner badge first.
Okay.
But I would like them doing that because, like, not necessarily, they don't have to type in chat, but it's a good way to get honest feedback.
Yeah, exactly.
From seeing people, yeah.
I can imagine though that, like, after having worked on this game for the amount of years that they have worked on it, some streamers would just like frustrate them so much, like with the stuff they sometimes say about the game.
No, obviously, like. Oh, sorry, just go ahead.
It also lets them get to know their content creators more.
Yeah, that's true.
Rashid, what were you saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say, obviously, if they want to do that and get feedback, like, check out people that, like, are maybe hot. Like, there's no shame in looking at, or nothing wrong, I mean, in, like, looking at smaller streamers, or, like, new players, I should say. It's because they get to see what the beginner experience is. Like, I think if they watched Lememsky stream, like, they would see, like, how a new player struggles.
Oh, wow, okay. I see a little bit of bad blood. But nah, I'm kidding. And, okay, before we end the main part of this topic, now you guys have been streaming Gwent for a long time, right? I think you guys are legends when it comes to the Gwent streaming thing. I think... What?
Wait, does that include me?
No. So Miss LadyJay, I think you've been streaming since console days, haven't you?
Yes.
Exactly.
Since 2018, I think. I've been streaming for 3 years. Yeah.
And Crozyr, since when have you been streaming?
I started streaming in the homecoming drought at the halfway point or something. So this was either early 2019. No, wait, sorry. It was 2018. Late 2018 is when I started streaming. Yeah.
Yeah, I started January 2018.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And Rashid, when did you start?
Was it September? Not last year, the year before, but I was streaming Artifact.
Ah. So you learned the hard way in streaming, did you?
I mean, I honestly, no joke, think streaming Artifact made me a better streamer, because you'd sit in queue for 40 minutes with no gameplay, so it had to entertain your chat in any other way.
So now that's why we see you molded into this person that you are today, is it? Nice. It's just an honest question, you know. But keeping those things in mind that you've been streaming for so long, all of you, what would you guys say about the current state of streaming the game? Like, how do you feel mentally and physically about streaming this game? Like, do you think that you're enjoying it more? Do you think that the chat has become more interactive? Has the people who are watching you become, more in number when it comes to viewers, in general, because more people have gotten into the game? How do you feel about the current state? Anyone can go ahead.
I could say, like, when I started out, it was during beta, and there were a lot more English streamers when I was streaming, because I was working at the time. I only had one time slot to stream it, but I was like against Swim and Ash Lizzle and all of those people. So I would be like at the bottom of the of the category, so people wouldn't actually find me there. So it took like a year or something until I actually moved to PC. I think that's when people started to know who I was. Because on console, people don't really want to see that. Because there wasn't any deck tracker, so you couldn't check what was in the deck back then on console. So I was at a disadvantage. And yeah, but then a lot of people left during homecoming. But then that made it more open for people to discover smaller streamers back then.
Okay, right.
Yeah, maybe I can jump in right there, because I think that's what happened to me when I started. It was like in this homecoming job where everyone was waiting for content, and like, I don't know, 3/4 of established streamers just left. So I could it was basically free real estate, right? I started streaming in that time frame, and the largest growth of followers I ever had was in these first 2 months. It was just crazy. And what I notice in general with Gwent, and I assume this is the case in many categories, is that there is like this pretty large and active crowd that's always circulating, like the biggest streamer that's online at any time, and they kind of like move on from streamer to streamer, and that is added upon whatever your loyal base of viewers and active people in chat is. I can very clearly tell if I'm the biggest streamer online right now, or if like there's like one of the bigger streamers online right now. You can very clearly tell the difference in activity in chat. And I'm not sure if that just has to do with there being such a limited amount of people watching the game, or if it's just a general thing with every category. When is the only thing I ever streamed in such capacity. I think ultimately, though, it's healthy at the moment for the most part. We've got a stable viewership, and I believe with every expansion it's getting more. And I think now with new dynamic that comes to the release of new content, I want to be carefully optimistic and say it's only gonna, at least for now, it's gonna get better. And then there's gonna be actually Witcher Season 2 coming out from Netflix, which last time when the first season came out actually boosted viewer numbers on Gwent for some reason as well. Like, I really noticed that. Because people are just thinking more about The Witcher. They play Witcher 3 maybe, they see Gwent and all of that. And, I still hope that Gwent survives until Witcher 4 comes out, if that ever comes out. So that then it's going to be like a huge influx of new people. That's like, I think, the long-term plan if you want to keep the streaming community alive as well. Like, to keep interest for the topic high.
I think what was nice for the streamers too was the observer that they brought for Twitch. A lot of viewers like that.
Yeah, but for some reason it's not working for me right now. But let's see. And yeah, and okay, Rashid, what would you say about your current state, other than saying I got partnered, dude? And apart from that, what else would you say?
I mean, like, the thing I like the most about streaming Gwent over Artifact is I don't get every day 2 or 3 people coming into my chat going, "Oh, people still play this game, Omega lol."
It used to be like that with Gwent for a while.
Yeah, it did. When Artifact was a thing, a big thing.
Ironic.
I think what Feldy says actually makes sense. Make Henry Cavill play Gwent, because I think if he plays Gwent, we're gonna get a lot of people playing this game. Like, no doubt about it. I'm not gonna be surprised.
I remember when they asked that. What's it? That one streamer to play Gwent during beta.
Kriparian. Yeah.
Kriparian?
Yeah, and they also made a guy who's called Crump play. But
and they never played Gwent, and they were just like, okay, let's play.
Yeah, I don't know. That felt a bit. I think that never really felt that authentic, though. I think people quickly realized it was just like a paid actor kind of thing, obviously, and I'm not sure how much they really did for the game, but I think Henry Cavill would be huge.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill.
Imagine they would be like Henry Cavill with like some streamer from the community, like a co-op stream, so they can show Henry the game or something. I don't know.
He even said he likes playing the Witcher games, and he's read the books, I think.
He's probably played Witcher 3 Gwent.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. He made a whole
co-op stream. Let's make it happen, guys.
I see. I think he literally made a beast PC just to play such games, right? Yep. I remember he went viral for making such an amazing PC, and he was putting it all together himself and showing off his muscles at the same time. But that's apart from the entire story. But yeah, I mean, I think they need to do some more advertising in that way, right? Like, like make an ad for Gwent and make him say, play Gwent now or something, even those small things could make a huge difference in making more people play the game. And who knows, maybe they do that in the future. And yeah, as Ian said, Rashid, he would pay for that. Ian would pay for that co-op.
Maybe he does like an ad where he's building his computer just for Gwent.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea, like I'm making this amazing PC, RTX 3070, and he starts Gwent and we're like, what? Look
at his animations and
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not a bad idea. I actually like that idea a lot for the ad. No
I'm just imagining a universe now in which Henry Cavill is just part of the Gwent scene, the Gwent community, and it's just like streaming 4 times a week or something.
Oh god.
Everyone would go to him.
Oh god, if Henry starts streaming, we are not gonna get any viewership. Everyone's gonna be there. Like, there's no doubt about it. He'll have that slot easy. There's no way.
What do you mean? You go live and wait for the host, dude.
That's not a bad idea. That is not a bad idea. But I'm just saying, your numbers are gonna drop with that. But it's totally fine. But I think now with the mark that we've hit on the time, I think we can conclude with our talks when it comes to it. So I would like to thank you 3 for joining me today. What?
Rashid had questions.
Yeah, I have one question for Crozyr. One of my many sources that you don't know about, it's not Feldy, told me to ask you about eating brownies in South Africa.
They've got this really, really specific recipe. It's I highly recommend it. But I would make sure you only have them when you have the next day off. And
you only eat 2.
Yeah, not 4. Don't eat 4. Eat 2.
Wow. That's something nice to conclude on, I guess. Kuzo, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that in chat. Don't say it. Yeah. But okay, now as I've put you guys in on the spot, ask you questions. It's time for you to sell yourself. So Rasheed, where can we find you? Where can we follow you, watch you, etc.? Go ahead.
Follow me on TikTok. I didn't make an account yet, but I plan to make one. I don't know if my website is still up, but NotRasheed.kid. No, actually, it was the kid.fun, which sounds wrong, but that's the only one I could find.
And your Tinder.
Oh yeah, and match with me on Tinder, please. I haven't gotten one in months.
Yeah. We all love you, Rasheed, and you know it. Okay, Mr. Potato Crozyr. I know you're super famous and everything, but where can we find you and where can we follow you for more potato shenanigans?
Oh yeah, you can find me for all the potato news on Twitter at Crozyr1, and on Twitch I'm just Twitch TV/Crozyr. And I think that's basically all my channels. You can come to my potato Discord. My potato Discord needs to be more active. Go and join my Discord. You can find the link on my Twitch.
Alrighty. And MissLadyJay, where can we find the certified, verified knee streams? Where can we find that? And where can we follow you?
On Twitch at twitch.tv/MissLadyJay. And on Twitter, there's no knee. Unfortunately, it's more writing than images. It's at MissLadyJay_ZA. And that's and my Discord is like Crozyr.
Okay.
And if you want to meet her in person, go to the ocean, 30 levels below sea level.
I'm not a hammerhead shark.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, you guys were great, absolutely great today. The chat was really active as well. I extremely loved the reception we had. We will be back again in 2 weeks with another panel, and we will see how Gwent is going. But for now, we are going to be concluding, and I would once again love to thank you all. So I will see you again in 2 weeks. Everybody wave bye-bye. Yeah.
Bye-bye. Or she's just like, whatever.
All right.